I am pleased to have this opportunity to present to you this symbolic baseball honor. Jackie, with congratulations and thanks and all our good wishes.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I would just like to say that I was really just a spoke in the wheel of the success that we had some 25 years ago, and personally want to say thank you to a great captain, a guy who was the leader of our ball club and who really set the pace in many, many areas. Pee Wee, thanks so much for being here today. I would like to also say that I would be a real pleasure if Mr. Ricky could have been here with us today, but to the members of the family, my entire love and gratitude for the things that he's done over the years. And I also want to say how pleased I am that my family can be here this afternoon, and to thank baseball for the tremendous opportunities that it has presented to me, and also for this thrilling afternoon. I'm extremely proud and pleased to be here this afternoon, but must admit I'm going to be tremendously more pleased and more proud when I look at that third base coaching line one day and see a black face managing in baseball. Thank you very much.
When you have a wife, kids, and you want to raise them the right way and do right by them, Jackie's a perfect person to look at. You know, going back to my days at UCLA, I had John Wooden, who to look at, and Jackie Robinson, who are two of the greatest human beings to ever walk this earth. And so Jackie was a person that, as I said before, is understanding that life is bigger than you individually, and how you treat people and needing to treat them fairly, and know when to fight, know when to walk away, know when to be humble, know when to have your ego kind of to the forefront, you know, to believe in what's right.
The influence of Jackie in not only my household, but most African Americans at that time, you know, we were all so proud. And you would go out and try to emulate some of the things that he did, because he was an exciting player at that time, and all that he had gone through, especially as a young African American at that time. You identified with the struggles, but players in general, and the courage that it gave players, and especially African American players coming behind him, the what was needed to say, yes, I can play Major League Baseball, and that door is open. You just have to have the courage to step through.
My real appreciation for Jackie came after I joined the Dodgers in 1969. And of course, the most memorable of all of that was my opportunity to meet Jackie for the first time in 1972, when we retired the first numbers in Dodger history, the numbers of Jackie, Roy Campanella, and Sandy Koufax. So that day in 1972, June in 1972, is a most memorable day in terms of Jackie and really knowing who he was. And there was an incident that forever stayed in my mind. Before the Old Timers game, Jackie was on the field near the Dodger dugout. I was there as we were making plans for the introduction of Jackie and others, and there was a fan in the stands who had a baseball, and he wanted Jackie to sign the ball. And he yelled, "Jackie, Jackie, sign this ball." And he threw the ball. Jackie's vision was so bad at that time, there was no way he could have seen the ball. It hit Jackie on the shoulder and bounced up and hit Jackie on the head. Everyone around Jackie went absolutely wild. Get that guy, throw that guy out of the park. And I'll never forget Jackie's reaction to that. He said, "Calm down. give me the ball. Give me the ball. They picked the ball up off the ground, gave Jackie the ball, and he said, give me a pen. Jackie signed the ball. He said, give the ball back to the gentleman. And I thought, and I knew then I had just witnessed, felt, seen the true essence of Jackie Robinson.
We were playing the Martin Luther King game in Dodger Stadium, where some of the greatest players of all time agreed to play in this game to honor Dr. King. And we were out on the field during the introduction at Dodger Stadium, and we all got to meet, or at least say hello to Jackie at that time as he came out. But after the game, I was on a flight going back to I was gonna rejoin the team in New York, and I had taken my seat. All of a sudden, now I see coming down the aisle was Jackie, and Jackie sits down in the aisle seat right across from me. And, you know, I'm, like I said, no ball player had ever made me nervous and everything like that. But now all of a sudden he's right there. My hero is right there. So I felt like a little kid again. So finally, I got up enough courage to reach over and introduce myself to him and said, hello, Mr. Robinson, I'm Reggie Smith with the Red Sox and blah, blah, blah. And before I could finish, he says, I know who you are and I know what you represent. And he says, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, he knew me, he knew who I was and everything. And that was a significant moment for me that, and he said he knew what I represented and what I stood for. So that was a blessing, I thought, that he was giving me to continue to do the things and fight the good fight.
I think he would be encouraging all of us in a very stern way that we need to get better. There's been some advancements, but there's been some decline as far as Black people in the game. I think overall diversity has trended up. But as far as Black people of color in leadership roles, whether it be field manager, whether it be front office, we can do better because there's a lot of talented people of color out there. So I think he'd be pleased in a lot of ways, but I think he'd be disappointed in some.
Would he be happy to see Dave Roberts managing the Dodgers? Of course he would, but he would recognize that so much more that needed to be done, because Jackie really was all about, as I saw him and studied him, was all about the future. When his playing career was done, it was done. Jackie didn't come back to Dodger Stadium in an old-timer's uniform. Jackie came back in a shirt and tie with the Dodger jacket that he put on later. He was all about tomorrow. He was really all about helping others.